I just believe everyone has a right to receive medical care, regardless
Right.
of how they identify.
Okay. So do you think a 10-year-old, for example, can consent to sterilizing themselves? Do you think they can understand that decision when they're 10 years old and still believe that a big fat man in a red suit flies through the sky at lightning speed, comes down their chimney and leaves presents under their tree?
I think that's a loaded question.
Do you think children can consent to throwing away their future sexual function?
If they're at an age at which they understand their own identity, yeah.
What age is that okay?
I don't know, I'd say about 15, 16.
You would be against any form of transitioning before 15, 16, is that correct?
If the parents consent to it, then, yeah. I think they should be allowed to,
At any point or just 15, 16?
at any point.
Okay, so if they, let's say 7 years old, parents say it's okay, go for it?
It's their kid,
It's their kid, so surgical transitioning. Just to confirm, I'm not like a yes for you?
Not necessarily surgical, but maybe hormones if they'd like that.
What if a parent consented to abusing their child? Would that be okay?
Well, that's just against, human rights in general,
So we agree that we shouldn't give parents the right to abuse their own children.
Yeah, but it depends what your definition of abuse is.
Well, I would say that altering the biology of a 10-year-old, destroying their future sexual functions, sterilizing them, cutting off their body parts, I'd say that's abuse, personally.
All right, well, that's your opinion.
Yeah.
You disagree with that?
No comment.
There are children with gender dysphoria, and we need to help them with the best scientific method to do so, to feel comfortable in their bodies. But there isn't evidence to support medically transitioning children that this is particularly helpful for them. And we know from academic studies that have been done for decades into gender dysphoria that 80 to 90% of these children see their gender dysphoria go away when they go through puberty.
Do you disagree with that?
Yes,
Why is that?
because a lot of kids, you're saying there's a lot of proof that they that after they go to puberty they're like fine and whatnot. But the point is they don't even have the language to really understand or maybe express things. And then also people transition through life multiple times. And so why are you saying that they're not able?
Surgically they do?
We're not even talking
Hormonally
about
they do?
whatever's right between them and their doctor and the family. I don't know why other people are getting into other people's business. It's so silly to me.
I think the conversation probably revolves around when there starts to be, hormonal transitions, surgical transitions for minors. I think that's when people start to want to get involved in what they call the protection of children. Of course, I understand that you guys disagree with that, but do you see what I'm saying there? Is what
Affirming care saves lives.
saves lives?
Yes, it does. It saved my own child. I have a trans daughter. She just transitioned. She's going to be 20, so she did go through puberty. And I would rather have a trans child than a dead child any day of the week.
So we have academic studies into gender dysphoria going back 5 decades. They're all on my website under the studies section if you want to check them out. These aren't my studies, these are academic studies. All these studies show the same thing. Kids with severe gender dysphoria from a young age. If you look at the most recent study, for example, it followed 139 boys from the age of 5 all the way up into their 20s. Because this used to affect boys way more than girls, and this is completely flipped. But these were boys with severe gender dysphoria from a young age. This was before they gave them puberty blockers. 87.8% of these boys saw their gender dysphoria desist when they went through puberty. 64% grew up to be gay. I talk to a lot of gay men, and I've got a lot of gay friends. A lot of them tell me when they were little they had gender dysphoria. They wanted to play with the girls, they played with dolls, whatever. And if they were growing up today, they'd be getting given these chemical castration drugs, which is what puberty blockers are. Their bodies wouldn't develop as they should. They'd be given estrogen. They'd end up with a micropenis for life. And they would have irreparably harmed their bodies.